Okay, so now that I have doors figured out, I'm going to bring back the roof over here, and then I'm gonna use this creeping planes. I'm actually gonna delete this and then create a new one, creeping plane over here, just in case you don't have it. And you can once you have this creeping plane, you can kind of move up and down to cut through the geometries. And this is where we can start to apply some materials as well. So let's see, if I go to layers over here, and if I expand this layers panel, uh, and if I go to the right, you should see something called this section style. That's something we want to use at the moment. So I'm going to start with this exterior walls, which is these guys over here. If I go into the section style, left click over here, this section style window pops up, and I'm going to apply hatch over here. So hatch 1, 45 degrees, and I'm going to change that scale to, let's just say 5. If I do that, this hatch shows up over here, which is good. It looks a little dense though, so I might actually bump that up to 7. And let's just say that looks good. And I'm actually going to change the color of the hatch pattern as well. So to do that, left click over here and change that to black. So now these lines are in black colors. And I'm going to change the boundary as well. So show should be checked over here, and scale color to black colors over here, and this boundary gets highlighted, kind of like cutting lines right over here. And yeah, so that kind of looks good. And I want to do that for all the other geometries as well. So if I go to the window frames over here, I want to do the same things. So section style, uh, hatch 1, 45 degrees, scale was 7, and uh, change the color of the boundary to black colors. And scale for this, I'll leave that as 3. Click OK. Um, right, I forgot to change the colors for the pattern colors, so change that to black. In general sense, when for the window frames, we want this to be slightly denser because the window frame is smaller. It's also that's the way we show different materials as well. So I'm gonna do that instead of 7. I'm just gonna have it at 5 for the hatch scale over here. Click OK. So it looks a little bit denser. And I'm gonna do the same things for the window glazing, but I actually don't want to have any hatch over here, so I'm not gonna attach anything over here. But I'm going to change the color of the boundary to black colors, and I'm gonna make this to scale to 1, so that it shows up as lighter line weights over here. So these will be heavy line weights when we produce the floor plans. And let's just say, so this is the interior walls. If I do the same things over here, hatch 45, and scale is 7, the color to be black, hit enter. And sometimes you might see something, so, all of these interior geometries, of course, I forgot to change the colors, so that's black. That it has all the hatch over here. But sometimes you might see this. Some of your geometry actually might not have the hatch over here. That's because somehow your geometry is not the closed solids. So if I click on this and go to the property panel over here, it tells you this geometry is a closed solid polysurface, which is what you need to do this. And these are surfaces. So that's the difference why this is happening. Let's see, and this could happen sometime when you forget to cap one of these surfaces, right? So like all these could be uh, together, but there might be one surface missing. So like when something like this happens, and actually I'm gonna do Control Z over here. And when something like this happens, only things you have to do is to uh, isolate. So if I were explode this, let's just say it's missing this surface. Only things I have to do is I have to just close that gap wherever there might be and join all the surfaces together. So to do that, I'm going to unhide the geometries. And then in this case, this is a surface that I need to reconstruct or add. So to do that, South PT is a handy command that I can just click on the four corners over here to create another surface. And then once I have this, I can select all of these geometries, join them. And now this is a solid polysurface. And uh, solid polysurface is also okay. And if I were to turn this on, clipping plane, now you can see there's a hatch mark, wall hatch that shows up. And that's what we want to see. So I'm gonna kind of continue do that, and but we have to deploy kind of like how we would create the floor plans. So like doors, for example, these door leaves, we don't want to actually we don't want to put the hatch for these, right? If you remember this PDF from the earlier video, in the well, this might not be the best example, but like these wall would have a hatch, but this door leaf would never have the hatch inside of it. So that's something we have to follow in our floor plan as well. So hatch is none, but we have to change this to boundary to the black colors, and I'm gonna have that as one. So it has very light line weight over here. Door frame, I would like to have a hatch over here as well. So I'm gonna do this 45, change the color to black. In this case, I'm just gonna have it as 5 because I want to have it a little bit denser than the walls over here to show the different materiality potentially. And that looks, let's just say, looks good. I forgot to change the colors, of course. So that's how I could have that. Yeah. So this is where kind of like things like this. So I have this is as a door frame. So this is showing up the hatch over here, but actually I don't want the hatch over here. So I would have to create another layer just for these elements. And I'm going to call that as uh, glass door, just say, and change the colors to something else. Okay. So now I'm gonna uh, just change this to this new layer and then assign the specific section style that I want for this geometries. So then I would just have that outline, and that's all I want it. It's actually I might just have that as one. Yeah. Okay. The other things is like situation like this. So this is Fireplace. And I right now I have this as a same layer as a door. So I'm just gonna create new layer for that. Please see round, right click, change object layers. And usually fireplace are constructed with different materials. It might have a different cladding as well, like stone cladding or tile cladding. So the patterns for this, I usually like to have that in different ways as well. Um, let's just say maybe I can use a grid 45 degrees, hit that. That's too dense for sure. So 7-ish line type to the black as well. Yeah. And I forgot to change the colors. Okay. So then like this shows this fire material for the fireplace is different from interior walls, which usually is because it's fireplace. Yeah, so then the good things about that is I think that's kind of like what I want to do over here. So then if I go into Arctic view over here, if you left click this triangle and click on this Arctic view over here, you can kind of see starting to see the floor plan quickly, and you can let's just say this is where I would like to cut. And I think last time I did this, it was like at the 5 feet above the floors. But basically, usually floor plan is cut somewhere around 4 feet, but you want to make sure one situation like this where I have like higher windows, so you want to make sure you're cutting those elements as much as possible as well. So then now once I have this, I could go into top view over here, and I'm gonna change the view mode to Arctic as well. And I actually have to click on this clipping plane and go to the properties, click on this icon, clipping plane property icon, and click on this top. This will enable the clipping plane in a top view. So now you can see that it's being cut. And then I'm gonna kind of move this clipping plane away of the view a little bit. And then I'm gonna click on this triangle again and click on this capture and click on to file over here. And this view settings should pops up. You don't have to change anything except you could change the resolutions over here. For example, you kind of want this to be higher resolutions. So let's just say 32 thousands, and that might not be a best. So I'm gonna actually keep this as a resolution to the viewport so I can see the same view that I'm looking at it. But I'm gonna change the scale of this. So usually this by default, this is 1. So if this is 1, this will produce the image that's the same resolution as what we are looking at it over here in a viewport. We want that to be a little bit higher, so I'm gonna put that as a 5. So that increased the image resolutions. So you can produce slightly higher image resolutions and higher resolution images. And if I click OK over here, and I'm just gonna save it on a desktop, say just one, and you can save it in PNG and save or JPEG for this. That will allow me to quickly produce this floor plan-ish drawing. This could be your work in progress drawings to just really quickly produce so that we can have a discussions about line weights and if there is anything something that we need to talk to change things. So that could be a good way to go. Another good thing, so that's something we can do to first set it up. The other good things about this is like you can just like rotate this clipping plane to the side, and you can cut the sections like this to figure out where might be the best place to cut, in sections. usually like you want to cut through a staircase to show the continuity of the levels and whatnot. So yeah, so that's kind of like super convenient. And that's how you can produce the work in progress drawings very quickly.